यशोदानंदन व्रज जनरंजन यमुनातिरवनचारि यशोदानंदन व्रज जनरंजन यमुनातिरवनचारि यशोदानंदन व्रज जनरंजन यमुनातिरवनचारि राधा माधव कुंज बिहार गोपी जन वल्लभ जय गिरिवरधारी जय गिरिवरधारी प्रिय गोपी जन वल्लभ जय गिरिवरधारी जय गिरिवरधारी यशोदानंदन व्रज जनरंजन यमुनातिरवनचारि यमुनातिरवनचारि राधा माधव कुंज विहार जय राधा माधव कुंज विहार श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासदि गौर भक्तवृंद हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे जय राधा माधव राधा जगन्नाथ जय बलदेवा सुभद्रमा जय सुदर्शन जय गोपाल देव गोपाल देव जय गोपाल देव गौरनिताय जय गौरनिताय जय गौरनिताय जय जय प्रभुपाद जय श्रीपाद जय गुरुदेवा जय जय
श्रीपाद गुरुदेव
जय गुरु महाराज श्रील श्रीपाद की जय जगत गुरु श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय संवेद गौर भक्त वृंद की जय हरे कृष्ण। So we are reading today from the Bhagavatam, the 7th canto, 3rd chapter, the signs of God, verse number 22 and 23. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
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 Narayanam Namaskritya
Narayanam Namaskritya.
Naram Chaiva Narottamam
Naram Chaiva Narottamam.
Devim Saraswatim Vyasam
Devim Saraswatim Vyasam.
Tato Jayam Budhiraye
Tato Jayam Mudiraye.
Nashtaprayeshu Abhadreshu
Nashtaprayeshu Abhadreshu.
Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya
Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya.
Bhagavati Uttama Sloke
Bhagavati Uttamam Shloke.
Bhaktir Bhavati Naishiki.
Bhakti Bhavati Naishtiki.
So this is verse number 22. Shri Narada Vacha
Sri Narada Vacha.
Iti Uktvadi Bhavo Devo
Iti Uttavadi Bhavo Devo.
Bhakshitangam Pipilikai
Bhakshitangam Pipilikai.
Kamandalu Jale Naukshad
Kamandalu Jale Naukshad.
Divye Namogha Radhasa.
Divya Namo Gharadhasa.
Shri Narada Vacha
Sri Narada Vacha.
Iti Uktvadi Bhavo Devo
Iti Uktavadi Bhavo Devo.
Bhakshitangam Pipilikai
Akshitangam Pipilikai.
Kamandalu Jale Naukshad
Kamandalu Jale Nokshad.
Divye Namogha Radhasa.
Divya Namo Gharadhasa.
Translation, purport by Srila Prabhupada, Prabhupada ki jai. Translation. Sri Narada Muni continued. After speaking these words to Hiranyakashipu, Lord Brahma, the original being of this universe, who is extremely powerful, sprinkled transcendental, infallible spiritual water from his kamandalu upon Hiranyakashipu's body, which had been eaten away by ants and moths. Thus he enlivened Hiranyakashipu. Purport by Prabhupada. Lord Brahma is the first created being within this universe and is empowered by the Supreme Lord to create. Tene Brahma Hridaya Adi Kavaye. This Adi Deva or Adi Kavi, the first living creature, was personally taught by the Supreme Personality of Godhead through the heart. There was no one to teach him, but since the Lord is situated within Brahma's heart, Brahma was educated by the Lord himself. Lord Brahma, being specially empowered, is infallible in doing whatever he wants. This is the meaning of the word Amogha Radhasa. Amogha means without fail. He desired to restore Hiranyakashipu's original body, and therefore, by sprinkling transcendental water from his water pot, he immediately did so. Text number 23. Satat Kichaka Valmikan Saha Ojo Balanvita Sarvavayava Sampanno Vajra Sanhanano Yuva उत्थितस्तप्त हेमाभो विभावसूरिवैधसः स तत्कीचक वल्मीकान् सह ओजो बलान्वितः सर्वावयव सम्पन्नो वज्रसन्हननो युवा उत्थितस्तप्त हेमाभो विभावसूरिवैधसः. A translation: as soon as he was sprinkled with the water from Lord Brahma's water pot, Hiranyakashipu arose, endowed with a full body with limbs so strong that they could bear the striking of a thunderbolt. With physical strength and a bodily luster resembling molten gold, he emerged from the anthill a completely young man. Just as fire springs from fuel wood, purport by Prabhupada, Hiranyakashipu was revitalized, so much so that his body was quite competent to tolerate the striking of thunderbolts. He was now a young man with a very strong body and a very beautiful bodily luster, resembling molten gold. This is a rejuvenation that took place because of a severe austerity and penance. Om Ajnanatimrandasya Jnananjana चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः. अमों विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्ति स्वरूपदामोदर स्वामिनिति नामिने नमः सद्भक्तमनये मणिपुरोद्भवाय च प्रभुपादलसत्त्वानि प्रचार निरतायते नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदांत स्वामिनिति नामिने नमस्ते सरस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्देशतारिणे वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः. श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासदि गौर भक्त वृंद हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे नाम संकीर्तनम यस्य सर्व पाप प्रणाशनम प्रणामो दुःखशमनं तं नमामि हरिं परम्. संसारसागरे मग्नं दीनं मां करुणानिधे कर्मग्राह्य गृहीताङ्गं मामुद्धार भवार्णवात्. श्रीमद्भागवतमाख्योऽयं प्रत्यक्ष कृष्ण एव हि स्वीकृतोऽसि मया नाथ मुख्यर्थं भवसागरे. So we are continuing here this Hiranyakashipu's tapasya and the aftermath of the tapasya. What is happening? The demons, the speciality of the demons is that they are averse to God. It's a very simple thing. Even though they are, most of them are very well educated, they know sufficiently to do tapasya. That if I do tapasya, I will gain all these amazing powers and everything. They know this, but still they don't realize that the fruits of tapasya, unless they are offered to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, it will all go in vain. Maybe for a short while you can enjoy all the results you reap because of that austerity you do, because of that tapasya, whatever you are gaining, you can enjoy it for a short while. But if you want something permanent, if you want something eternal, then those fruits of the tapasya, it should be aimed towards the transcendence, towards the Supreme Personality. That's why Lord Rishabdev is saying, Tapo Divyam Putraka. He's advising his 100 sons, among whom one of them is Bharat Maharaj. And this whole country, actually the entire planet, was once called Bharatvarsh after this King Bharat. So Lord Rishabdev is advising these 100 sons headed by Bharat Maharaj that, you're doing tapasya, that's nice. Everybody has to do some kind of sacrifice and austerity. But whatever you're doing, tapo divyam putraka. You do such kind of austerities, shuddhe tena, purification. You do this tapasya for your purification and aimed at divyam, aimed at transcendence. Shuddhe tena sattvam yasmat brahma saukyam tu ananta. And the result of such tapasya aimed at transcendence will be brahma saukyam tu ananta. But the thing is, shuddhet ena sattvam. You purify your bodily existence. And here you see, Brahmaji is actually sprinkling water from his kamandalu, and this body of Hiranyakashipu, which was completely eaten away by moths and covered by ant hills and all these parasites and creatures, that body of Hiranyakashipu became completely rejuvenated simply by this water from Lord Brahma's So as we are growing older, we think if somebody can come and give us a little bit of that magic water like that from Brahma's kamandalu, we become all young. You don't have to wear these glasses. The senses will be very strong. Your body will be very fit, and we can do anything. This thought comes to mind. So how is that? Brahma's water has become so powerful. We get water everywhere. We can go find water. But then, Brahmaji's water is so powerful that simply sprinkling little bit of that on this completely, totally gone body of Hiranyakashipu, something magical has happened, and this entire body has come back. Not only it has come back so young, so strong, and so completely beautiful that, it is shining like molten gold. Unimaginable. And the thing is that when people are always searching for eternal life, these olden days, you read, as children, you read sometimes all these stories, right? These fairy tales and other stories. There is always an eternal fountain of youth. Somehow they relate this eternity always with water. You don't see a, eternal air of, life or something like that, or eternal solid which will bestow upon you, youthful life. It's always something like eternal fountain, or there is a elixir. There's always a liquid. It's a liquid which you drink. Like the demigods, they drink this amrita. You drink that liquid, and then you become very young. So somehow, the whole connection with eternity and with youth has been somehow linked with water here. But Brahmaji's water is not ordinary water. The Upadeshamrit, this sloka is there. When we come into the New Bhakta Ashram, this is the first few things that they teach us. Upadeshamrit, you have to learn all these verses. And then, the first few chapters of Bhakti Rasam Sindhu. And then we have to memorize 108 slokas in the Bhagavad Gita. And then further advance to the Bhagavatam. And then, finally, Chaitanya Charitamrit like this. It's an unlimited thing. But these basic things in Upadeshamrit by Rupa Goswami, this verse is there. Drishay swabhava janitar vapushasya doshay na prakritattvamiha bhakta janasya pashen gangambasam na kalu budbudafena pankai brahma dravatvam apagachati niradharmai. Say drishay, when you're looking at some sadhus, sometimes, the sadhu's body may not be, how you envision. Very smiling, bright face, completely transcendental. And you look at that person, you want to get attracted to that person. Just one smile is enough. It may not be like that. There may be defects. Somebody may be handicapped. Somebody may be having one eye missing. Somebody may have buck tooth. But you're seeing all these external defects, and you cannot judge a person, a Vaishnava. This is not the way to see a sadhu. The same way, like sometimes during the rainy season, you see the Ganges water, it becomes mixed with all this froth and mud and everything. So many rivers are flowing into small rivulets are flowing into the Ganges, and the whole thing becomes muddy, because of the heavy rain. There is some slush or froth and other things, but still that water is Brahmadrava. So this external vision, we cannot identify what is spiritual or what is material. For our vision, everything becomes material, actually, because we are conditioned. We are materially conditioned souls. But when one is spiritually elevated, he can see Sarvam Idam Kal Brahma. He can see everything is actually Brahma Vastu. Everything is spiritual, including the water. But this water, specifically here, Brahmaji's water is actually Ganges water. You know the story how Bali Maharaj, Daitya Raj, Bali Maharaj, he conquered all the three worlds. He captured the post of Indra, and then Lord Vishnu, he appeared as Vaman Dev, the younger brother of Lord Indra, in the womb of Kashyapa and Aditi. Vamana, Upendra, that's one another name, Upa Indra, the smaller Indra, the smaller brother of King Indra, the heavenly king. So this Vaman Dev, he came as a very small Brahmin, and then he appeared in the sacrificial yajna of Bali Maharaj, and he requested him, you please give me 3 paces of land, with my small foot. Hardly 2-3 feet. Vaman means a dwarf, a very short person. And the Lord is begging, actually, And Bali Maharaj, seeing the effulgence, again, the same golden effulgence, seeing this effulgence of this, very beautiful, sweet Brahmin boy, he immediately offered, whatever you want, you ask me, I'll give it to you. I'm very happy with it. I'm very satisfied with it. And, he's asking, you just give me 3 paces of land, how much ever I can take with my foot, with my leg. And Bali Maharaj is laughing and saying, I thought you're a very intelligent Brahmin boy, but you could have asked me anything. Heavenly planets, this, that, so many things I could have given you. But then you're just asking for, according to your estimation, just 3 paces of land. But you see, as soon as he agreed to that, Vaman Dev, he grew up in size. He expanded so much that practically, when he lifted his foot, he punctured all the coverings of the holes of the universe. See, this universe is covered in layers. 7 layers are there. Bhumi, Apo, Analo, Vayu, Kam, and then Mana and Buddhi. And beyond that, you get the Karano Dakshai ocean, the Karano Sagar, the causal ocean is there, in which that huge Karano Dakshai Vishnu, Mahavishnu, is resting. That water is completely transcendental, spiritual water. So when Vaman Dev is lifting that foot, he's piercing, his nails are piercing the coverings of this universe. Coverings are each 10 times more. So it is actually a huge area that Vaman Dev is piercing with this Padanaka Nira. There is a thing. Jayadev Goswami is singing very beautifully in the Dashavatar Stotra. Chalayasi Vikramane Balim Adbhuta Vamana Padanaka Nira Janita Janapavana. Janita Jalapavana Keshavadita Vamana Rupa Jaya Jagadisha. Padanaka Nira. Padanaka, the naka is the nails. That nail, it pierces through the covering, and then, Janita, this Jala, Nira, or water is coming, Janapavana, which is purifying all the living entities. So this water is Ganges water. And in Kali Yuga, it is said that, the Bhagavatam shows you the way how to go back to Godhead, but if you take shelter of the Ganges, all your problems will be resolved. The Ganges is very merciful. In the glorification and the Ganga Mahatmya, where they are glorifying Ganges water is mentioned. If you even think of Ganges, you can achieve liberation. This is how nice, Ganga Maya is. What to speak about actually seeing her, touching her, or taking bath in the water. So this Ganges, that Karano Sagar, this causal ocean, that water leaked. And that water, it touched the foot of the Lord Vaman Dev, and all the tulasi and sandalwood, whatever was mixed in the Lord's feet, That came down, and this Brahmaji who was sitting in Satyaloka, he caught it in his kamandalu. He offered worship to the Lord, and he caught that water in his kamandalu. The origin of the Ganges. And from Brahma's Kamandalu, actually, that water, the Ganges water, it flows. It goes to the upper heavenly planets, then our earthly planets. By King Bhagirath's mercy, we are able to get this Ganges water on our earthly planets, and then even subterranean planets. So above, she is called Alaknanda. This Ganges water is called Alaknanda in the heavenly planets. In a middle earthly planet, she is given different names. Janavi, Bhagirathi. Generally we call her Ganga Maya. And then in the lower planets, I think she is given a different name, Bhogavati. In the lower planets, so Tripadi. She is called Tripadi. She goes through all the three planetary systems and she purifies. This is a speciality of that water which is present in Lord Brahma's Kamandalu. When people generally, you take bath, people who are upstream, they take bath and they dirty the water, and that water comes down to the people who are below, right? But this is directly from the foot of the Lord that Brahmaji is having that, not after flowing. But any position Ganges is, that water is always purifying, it is always transcendent. This is the power of the Ganges water. Those days, even these Britishers, who conquered India, they knew about this. They used to take this Ganges water in barrels because that water would never spoil. Sometimes you see the Ganges water, there are a lot of dead bodies floating around, but the water around it, just for a particular area, there is some bacteria, but otherwise, all the other water is perfectly clear. There are no germs or anything in that. This is the power of the Ganges water. And simply drinking Ganges water daily will improve your health so much. When we come into spiritual life, there are certain things that you're taught. The first thing is the chanting. You're taught to chant. But even before you chant, you're taught how to do achaman. Right? It's a purificatory process. You take a achaman cup, you pour some water, and then we chant this mantras. Gange cha Yamuna chaiva Godavari Saraswati Narmade Sindhu Kaveri Jale Asmin Sannidhim Kuru. You do a kind of elephant mudra, the elephant goat mudra, it's called Ankush mudra. You touch that water and then you chant this. You invite all these holy rivers, the sacred rivers, beginning with the Ganges. Gange cha Yamuna chaiva. We say the Sapta Nadi, the seven purifying rivers. We invite them, and then you use that water for doing this achaman. Om Keshavaya Nama, Om Narayana, Om Madhavaya. This is a basic thing. This is a basic purificatory thing we do. And this starts with this achaman and that water. So, and Ganges is a leading there. Gange cha Yamuna cha. First thing is Ganga water, then Yamuna water. So the potency of water to actually, especially the Ganges water, is being glorified here. But you see in the purport, Prabhupada is saying, he's saying that, the first created being, this Adi Kavi, is Lord Brahma. So Brahma is also not an ordinary living entity. The very first sloka of the Bhagavatam, it starts with Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya, and then Janmadhyasya Yatan Vayodi Taratas, like that, Charteshva Bhigya Swarat, Tene Brahma Hridaya Adi Kavaye, Muhyanti Yat Suraya. This Brahmaji's name is mentioned very prominently there in the very first verse of the Bhagavatam, because Brahmaji is the first being whom the Lord creates. And that Brahmaji is empowered later on to create the body of all the living beings within the universe. So Brahmaji is not an ordinary person. And Prabhupada is highlighting this point that how did Brahmaji know what to do? And that knowledge, what to do, how to design all these different bodies, 84 lakh species, that knowledge was given to Lord Brahma directly from the heart, through the Supreme Personality of God. The Lord, who is residing in the heart as the Chaitya Guru, he gave this knowledge to Brahma. So Brahma is, inside and out, Brahma is like completely purified and well equipped to handle any kind of situation within the universe. And at the end of this creation, when everything winds up, Brahmaji and all the people who are with him, the saintly people who are with him in the Satyaloka, Brahmaloka, they go back to the spiritual world. So it's not amazing that Brahmaji is having such kind of water, and it's not at all amazing that Brahmaji can sprinkle that water and just revive Hiranyakashipu. So sometimes the Bhagavatam, when it says these things, people become amazed. Adbhuta. People, oh, how is this? Somebody is doing 100 years tapasya and 100 years by the calculation of demigods. Even that seems impossible for us to think about. And then, just sprinkling little water immediately on the decomposed, practically gone body, and then, just the bones, and then they are able to revive them. See? So even this sounds even more wondrous. But that is spiritual life for you. Spiritual life means there is a domain of knowledge which is beyond rationality. This is how Guru Maharaj would say that. All your rationality, all your logic, all your scientific thinking, beyond that, there is a particular domain. And this domain, from that, the spiritual knowledge is being handed over. It is actually a matchless gift. We just have to receive because we have no idea. Our senses, we cannot comprehend these kind of things because it is inconceivable to our ordinary mundane senses. It is beyond the purview of our senses. So such kind of knowledge is being presented here in the Bhagavatam. And in the next verse, we see limbs so strong that they could bear the striking of thunderbolts, Vajra. With physical strength and a bodily luster resembling molten gold, he emerged from the anthill a complete young man, just like fire comes from fuel wood. So this word is used, vibhavasu. Vibha means actually light. Like we say, yasya prabha prabhavato, the effulgence or light. That vibha, vishesh rup. This means light. And vasu means a person, a being or a person, who exist everywhere like that. Like we say Vasudev. This Vasu, that word actually, the translation in Sanskrit, it means a being or substance. Substance. This is a meaning. So Vibhavasu actually here denotes fire. It's one of the Ashtavasus also, who's a being of light, who's a being of fire. Actually. So this name is being given there. And molten gold, the comparison is there to molten gold. I remember, this is just a small side note. In Kerala, actually, we have Guruvayur, right? This Guruvayurappan, the deity is actually Lord Krishna, who was worshipped by Rukmini Devi in Dwaraka. So what happens when Dwaraka was washed away, the ocean came and reclaimed Dwaraka, this deity was actually floating around in a place of sandalwood, what do you call that? Chandan, Gopi Chandan and thing, it was there. This deity was there. And Guru, Brahaspati, the spiritual master of the demigods, and Vayudev, both of them, they took this deity and they came and they established in Guruvayur. And this area of Guruvayur actually belonged to Lord Shiva. But Shiva, he kindly consented to leave that place for the Lord, and he moved to a closer place called Mammiyur. So after establishing this deity, they offer worship to the deity and Abhishek. They say that this deity is composed of some kind of, very special Naga Pashana or something, they say that. The deities can be made from different types of materials. You can make it from wood, you can carve a deity from neem wood, you can carve a deity from Ashtadhatu, 8 different type of metals, Panchaloha, 5 kinds of metals, different compositions are there. But this particular deity is very, special. It is made of some kind of Naga Pashana. It's not found in this material world. It's a very rare thing. And they say when you do Abhishek, and even a small particle of the deity goes into that Abhisheka liquid, and you consume that, you will become so healthy. Your body will develop that golden luster. So if you go to Kerala, particularly, you see these Nambudris, these people who generally do the Abhishek for that deity, and they take the, they get the first dibs on all the Mahaprasadam there, this Abhishek water. You see, their bodies are very shining and really golden actually. But now, because of constant scraping of the deity, so many years have passed since this deity has been installed. So practically, the deity has reduced in size. So they replace the original deity with another Pratibhu, make alike, look alike. They have replaced that. They have created another one, and that is the one that they are offering Abhishek. So you see, the Lord, Supreme Lord, his energies are unlimited, and the Lord is present everywhere actually. So when one becomes connected to the Supreme Lord, from any way, any source, he can derive all power. Now, from sound he can get power, from water he can get power, from sky he can get power. Unlimited. Within the heart itself, he can get power. You can become spiritually surcharged by any means if you are connected to the absolute truth, if that is your intention. But if you're disassociated, then nature will take its course. So Hiranyakashipu, he was smart enough to understand that if I do tapasya, I will gain, rich rewards. He was intelligent enough to understand that. But he got the wrong person, and he got the wrong person for the wrong purpose. And then, the result of that, it all went wrong. So although you have a nice golden body, shining, very handsome, very beautiful, can withstand even thunderbolts, Indra's Vajra, such a strong body, and very like molten gold, very handsome. Still, because of all these things, because of catching the wrong person and asking for the wrong things, and then misusing whatever you have gained, the results all went wrong. So one has to be very careful. So it's better to have a body which is for this. Somewhere Prabhupada made this statement. First thing he said is you delay sense gratification as much as possible. Try to procrastinate. Generally, we are given some service. We like to say, Prabhuji, I'll do it tomorrow. Please give me a break. I'll do it tomorrow. We'd like to procrastinate, but you do sense gratification like that. And then I think it was Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur who said, for a person whose aim is sense gratification, a diseased body is not a problem because when he's suffering, he'll at least try to remember the Lord. So for a people whose only goal is sense gratification, he's saying that having a body with diseases and with problems is not a big disaster. It is a nice thing actually, because then they can actually focus on the real point, the goal of life, which is to remember the Lord. So on that note, I think I'll wind up. Are there any questions, any suggestions, or any comments? Thank you very much for your patience. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Yeah, thank you for this nice class. Yeah, if anyone is having any question, they can raise the hand and ask His Grace Mother Manohar Prabhu. Yes, Govind Maharaji, please.
Dandavad Maharaj. Hare Krishna.
Very nice. I just get the Hare Krishna.
Hmm.
And when you said that goal of life is to remember Krishna, correct? So all the means which are all the sadhanas and all this. What is the means? What is the ultimate means to be able to remember Krishna?
The best is association of devotees, Maharaj. Pure devotees.
I see. So devotional, as we know that the sadhana bhakti or devotional practice. So our sadhana, it cannot give or without means in isolation. How we perform pure devotional service, incorporating how, uh, how to include that association of pure devotee while performing different limbs of pure bhakti. Is there separation or it is all inclusive? How to make it inclusive? Otherwise, because apparently many sadhakas perform many limbs of devotional service, but still they have really hard time associating with even pure devotees. So there is a contradiction here. How to resolve this?
No, the Shastra is saying,
What is it?
Ekaki amar nahi paye bal, right? When you're alone, generally you don't get the strength. And then Tumara Karuna Sar, mercy, this mercy given by these pure devotees, that is the essence actually. We say Guru Kripa Hi Kevalam, the mercy of the spiritual master is everything. But association, there is this Vapu Seva and there is Vani Seva. Two ways you can associate. You can associate with the body, being in the presence of the Guru and rendering some service to the Guru physically. But much more important, Prabhupada would always say, much more important than that is this Vani Seva, that the Guru has given you certain instructions and you try to follow it. If not now, you make that the goal in your life that sooner or later I will do this thing. And that is the best kind of association. Like Prabhupada would say, nothing is separating us. You are sitting and you're chanting there. I'm sitting and I'm chanting here. And, we have this sound connection. This is how Prabhupada said, like we say sound body and sound mind. So this sound, this transcendental sound, this is a connection actually. So you chant there, I'm chanting here. Wherever we may be, we have this connection. That's why Mahaprabhu is saying, Kirtaniya Sadahari. Always you chant. Because this chanting, it brings about this connection, on all levels. Especially the spiritual platform, we are able to have this connection. So, otherwise it is very difficult actually to be always in the physical presence of a pure devotee. It's a very, very, how do you say, very, unless one is very, very fortunate, one will not get such kind of opportunity. So those who have achieved that opportunity, it's something very, very rare. Something very, very rare. But otherwise, this is a process, the sound. Sadhu darshan also you have only through the years. You cannot see actually and understand who is a real sadhu, who is a pure devotee. But through the years when we hear or when we are chanting the holy names, we can understand the potency. We associate this way. It's a sound association of the sadhu. Thank you, Maharaj. You want to add something to that? Please go ahead, Maharaj.
Well, generally when we say that we do anything for the pleasure of Krishna, correct?
Yeah, Maharaj.
but we assume that whatever I'm doing is for the pleasure of Krishna. What is the guarantee that I'm doing for the pleasure of Krishna? That's why I think Bhagavatam says this. Yesterday I quoted 2:3:11. They say Bhagavati achilo bhavo yad Bhagavata sangata. The guarantee of our attaining incessant remembrance or attachment to Krishna is accomplished by yad Bhagavata. Bhagavat means pure devotee who is fully absorbed, who has achala bhava, exclusive devotion for Krishna. Sangata means attachment. So attachment means to please. No, when you are attached to someone, you try to do anything to please the person. So the dearness is very essential. Otherwise, that separation comes. So I'm doing everything for the pleasure of Krishna, but who is Krishna is coming and telling you that yes, whatever you're doing is I'm being pleased. But if our focus becomes everything we do, even any limb or part of pure devotion, for the satisfaction, for the pleasure of Sri Guru, that guarantees our developing attachment for Krishna. So this is a root siddhanta of Bhagavad Dharma. Again and again, it is established in Srimad Bhagavatam, so many places. So oftentimes, one definitely we see that we do anything for the pleasure of Krishna, but whether Krishna is being pleased or not, what is the guarantee? Because we don't see, Krishna doesn't tell us directly or somehow, but Sri Guru tells us, yes, I am pleased, that means Krishna is pleased. That's why Sangata means attachment to the order and the will of the spiritual master. Even when spiritual master is not present personally, physically now, but since we have associated with him, we know what he wants, what he would have liked, what would please him, because we are used to him. We did get used to him. So this is very essential. Otherwise, there will be always separation. People, sadhakas, act independently. Yes, I am doing for the pleasure of Krishna, and there is no concept of what the Sri Guru wants. The sadhaka, the will, the desire and satisfaction of the spiritual master is of paramount importance, even with or without his physical presence. Isn't it?
Yeah, Maharaj.
Hare Krishna. Yeah, our Shyam Kishore Prabhu is having something. Yes, Prabhuji, please.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Jai Krishna, Atma.
Sure, Prabhu. Very good. Thank you for the nice class.
Sure.
Question is, as we read today, this Hiranyakashipu with the blessings of Brahmaji, he got a nice, beautiful young body with bodily luster and physical strength. So he got this because of his so severe austerity for so many of celestial years and that way. But before doing that, before doing the austerity, he got to know, as we studied in the previous verse, the Lord Brahma predicted in the purport it is written in 21. Lord Brahma predicted that he had to die. He could not become immortal or even gain equal status with the demigods. So already it was predicted to him, it was told to him, but still when the person is informed by the person who is giving the benediction, after knowing the truth, still why the human beings, they are not able to realize this thing. No? Still they are running of those impermanent, temporary, long life or young body, or which is going means which are not permanent. We are going to be finished one day. So why this? They are not able to realize these human beings, no? Even after knowing it from the proper source.
That is the thing, these two things, forgetfulness and ignorance. Main cause is ignorance. The fault is ignorance. You're ignorant, and then you forget that I'm not meant to stay in this body and enjoy. This is not my permanent situation. That forgetfulness that comes because of ignorance. As soon as these living entities are created by Lord Brahma, he is covering them with these 5 different kinds of ignorance. That is being mentioned there in the Bhagavatam. That moha, mahamoha, anda, mahanda, like that. There are 5 different kinds of ignorance, and these things, they cover actually the living entity. So because of that, the living entity completely forgets that I'm a spirit soul. I don't even need this body actually, whether it is a young body or this material body. I no need. This thought even doesn't come in their brain. So this is a main reason actually why that persistently, although they are telling you that no, this is not possible, because of this ignorance and forgetfulness, we still cling on to that. We still cling on to that little glimmer of sense gratificatory pleasure that we can achieve by having such a body. We're still clinging on to that. This is what we have in our ignorance, in our forgetfulness. This is what we have. We think this body is everything for us. This is the one which is giving me all pleasure. So let me try to make this very young. But then when one becomes, knowledgeable, and when one completely understands, he remembers that, I'm eternal servant of the Lord. Then he changes this outlook that this body is everything. Rather, he will try to use the body for achieving that spiritual body, which is everything. So this purification or this transformation of the heart is affected by sadhu, shastra, and guru. The combined mercy of all the 3, especially the guru, it helps one to overcome this. Again and again, the guru is reminding you, you are Krishna's das. You are supposed to do this. Don't be on the bodily platform. Don't gratify your senses. These things, they come. And when one is constantly being reminded, although we try, because we are conditioned for many lifetimes like that, we try, but still somehow the guru pulls you back. The guru grabs hold of your shikha, and somehow Guru Maharaj, he saves you actually. This is what happens. That's why Gorgon Maharaj was saying, a sadhu, he has to spend billions and billions of spiritual blood to pull out a person from the clutches of Maya. It's not an easy task actually. And Prabhupada, he made so many disciples, but he said, even if one pure devotee I make, my mission is successful. So you understand the rarity of somebody becoming a Krishna Bhakta, somebody remembering his position, and somebody actually, going beyond these veils of ignorance to understand his real position is something very, very rare. It's not an ordinary achievement, actually. Most people, it's easy, it's easy to dive into material sense gratification. So easy. To fall down is easy. To climb up, you have to put in effort and you have to work. Just like that, to fall down, it's very easy. You're going with the flow, with the gravity. But then if you have to go against the thing, that is what devotees do, trying to do. Yeah, Prabhu.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Prabhu. Thank you.
They say, ignorance is bliss. Very blissful, Whatever happens is fine. But when you have real knowledge, then, things they change.
Yeah.
Hare Krishna, Avroji.
Hare Krishna.
Yeah, Maharaj, please.
Prabhu, I like this point. You said that we are so used to falling down. Unlimited time we have, and the odds are very against us because since eternity we have been falling down again. So the odds of not not fall down in this lifetime also is very much against us. Correct. So, but it is possible that in this lifetime we can help ourselves not to fall down once again.
Maharaj, by your blessings, everything is possible, Maharaj.
Yes. So, what has not been made possible, given innumerable opportunities to make it all the way, and so it's very. This wedding is very discouraging in one sense that it's hopeless. If what I couldn't accomplish in billions of lifetimes, what chance do I have to make it in this lifetime? Please shed some light how we can be hopeful.
They're saying there is this example. I don't know,
Maharaj ji, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Yes.
This life we fall at the lotus feet of Srila Shripad again and again. Hare Krishna.
Maharaj.
Because the past,
No problem. Million times we fall down at the lotus feet of. We turn the record into our positive. Our record of falling down, we'll convert into falling at the lotus feet of Sripad Maharaj and Vaishnavas. So please continue, Prabhuji.
Wow.
Just on the right side. And
Maharaj,
also little serious. Hare Krishna.
Yeah, you took Maharaj took all the words from my mouth. But anyway, this Bhaktivedanta Thakur was giving this example, right? There are very deep caves under the ground, like sometimes where there is no light at all. There's no possibility of light going there. But somehow, by some, some miraculous way, if a person is going down there and he's taking a lamp and he's lighting it there, even in that dense darkness, for millions of years within that cave, there is only darkness. But then the person is lighting, immediately you see all the darkness will dispel and will go away. This darkness cannot claim that, oh, I've been here for 1 million years, you have no right to come in like that abruptly. Just like that, as soon as you light the lamp, immediately. So this is how sadhus, they very miraculously, sadhu guru, they work like this. They come and just like that somehow, there's a person who's been like, hopelessly lost in this falling down and, being accustomed and conditioned by Maya. He all of a sudden, he has this hope that, somehow, I can get over all these things. And like Maharaj was saying, Rajpati Maharaj was saying, that is the best thing to do, catch hold of the lotus feet of the Guru and keep trying. Maharaj, please. Karuna now. Kandiya. Pranana Rakibo Ara.
You like to say Kandiya?
Yeah, Maharaj. You have to really cry, Maharaj. We are not crying actually. We're crying for so many other things, but I'm not crying for that. That is the thing. So you kindly bless me, Maharaj, that I can also cry like that.
Well, we are trying to find it out. So we have hope. Maharaj has expressed that hope in the lotus feet of His Divine Grace. The hope against all odds. Correct?
Yeah.
Right.
Hare Krishna.
Jai Krishna.
Just 1 minute I will take. It's already going time. So continuing on that, now we are falling down again and again instead of climbing or progressing. So as you mentioned, that we should have association of advanced devotees. Then Maharaj also said, Goimata Maharaj said that, for what was the point? He said for progressing. Brajavati Maharaj said that we hold on to the instructions and lotus feet of Gurudev, and then crying to the Lord, crying to Gurudev. So these are the things that after coming into devotional life, we try to hold on these things. So to advance, to progress. So not to reverse, but to progress. So what else is there that we should hold on to, or so we can progress well? Hare Krishna.
I remember, I don't know where I remember reading this, but these three things, everybody wants something to love, something to do, and something to hope for. These three things. By any ordinary person, what to speak of devotees. So hope, there's something hope we have to hope for. There's always something will be there nice at the end of the, whatever our lifespan or whatever austerity we are doing, whatever we are doing. At the end of that, there is something nice to hope for. There's something we can do every day. Occupational duty, we call that dharma. Every day we can do something. And then somebody to love. When all this is focused on the Lord and His devotees, if we are praying for the association of the Lord and His devotees, if we are always meditating how to serve the Lord and His devotees, and then if we are thinking like this along these lines, and if we are learning to love actually the Lord and His devotees, then the mission will be accomplished very soon. But the problem comes because we are not doing all these things. We don't cling on to the hope that one day we will be in the association of such devotees. We prefer some other hopes and service we want to do service just to satisfy our body and our extended bodily members, rather than serving the Vaishnavas and thing. And love also, we love ourselves more. We are very selfish like that, but we are not able to transfer that center of love to the Supreme Lord. But if somehow somebody is able to accomplish this, it's not an easy task. But if somebody can do that, then you'll see the magic happen. You'll see the miracle happen.
Yeah, understood.
Hare
Can I
Krishna.
say one thing?
Yes, Maharaj.
May I add, Prabhuji?
Holding
Maharaj.
on to the lotus feet of the spiritual master. Because lotus feet of the spiritual master. So dearness means then identifying what is and who is dear to the spiritual master. Because those who have endeared themselves to the spiritual master, they are truly given or taken shelter at the lotus feet of the spiritual master. So the lotus feet of the spiritual master is not in isolation. Lotus feet of the spiritual master means the dust particle of the who are the dust particles of the lotus feet of the spiritual master? Those who are fully unconditionally surrendered to him. So holding on to the lotus feet or desire to hold on to the lotus feet of the spiritual master means also honoring those who have endeared themselves to the spiritual master. The persons and the things and many things. So it is not like, I will just hold on to the lotus feet of my spiritual master in my mind. But spiritual masters. So spiritual master's lotus feet is a lot of wonderful association, wonderful thoughts, wonderful likings which will endear ourselves to the spiritual master. That's the purpose. It's not that I hold on to the spiritual master now, then I don't move. The spiritual master says, okay, get off my feet and go and get some spiritual master. No, I will just hold on to your lotus feet. I will not move. So honor and worship the spiritual master means following his will, following his desire, and honoring those who are very dear to him. So taking shelter of the spiritual master is a very variegated. It's an attitude. It's in the consciousness. It's our demeanor. Ultimately, try to please him. That is the point of taking shelter of the spiritual master. It is not some kind of literally just grabbing the lotus feet of the spiritual master. It's, taking his shelter means doing what will please him. So that is the point. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. I was remembering what Prabhupada said actually. One of the devotees, he was saying, Prabhupada, I want to always be at your lotus feet. and Prabhupada was saying, okay, you pack your bags. My lotus feet is always moving because I have to serve my guru. So Prabhupada said something like that. Yeah, Maharaj. It's a very humorous way he was saying it, but yeah, you said it once. So anything more, or Sanatan Prabhu, or you can wind up?
We can conclude, Prabhuji.
Yeah. So thank you very much. Jai Hare Krishna. Jai Guru Maharaj Srila Sripad ki jai. Jai Samveda Vaishnav B.I. Vaishnav Bhaktivedanta ki jai. Jai Gaur Premanand. Hare Krishna. Thank you.
Thank you. Hari Bol.
His Grace Madan Manohar Prabhu ki jai. Thank you all for joining. See you all in tomorrow's class. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.